Okay, so we've mixed up some background colors, and now we're going to paint the background using the technique of salt. So you dip your brush in some water, get a little bit of paint on here, and the background. Notice that I'm slow and controlled on this line, making sure not to go into the flower, and adding a little bit more water. Okay, now we're ready for the magic. I'm going to take this salt, sprinkle it on that wet paint. And now I'm going to take a different kind of paint and I'm going to transition to a different color, but similar. Notice you see that salt in there? That salt will start to dissolve with the water, and then you'll get this nice crystal effect. See that transition? Okay, let's continue on. So now I'm going to transition to a different kind of green, blue-greenish.
That was cool.
I know, right? And then slow and controlled around this line. Now, the reason why this background is not bleeding into the flower is because the flower is dry. If you have something wet and you paint wet next to wet, it bleeds into each other like this. And we don't want that right now for the flower. So do not paint the flower the same time that you're painting the background, or it'll bleed into each other and it would be a hot mess. Alright, so I'm going to continue on here. I'm painting with water. Got those crystals, kind of move them around. Okay? And I'm going to add a little bit more water, and now I'm going to take some salt. And the crystals dissolve, and then when it's dry, then we'll rub the excess salt off. Okay, let's get a little crazy and add some more of this stuff. Ooh, look at that dark. Okay, I'm going to be careful coming up on this flower.
It looks like that the flowers are like over like a swamp.
Some more salt. Ooh, that's a lot of salt. I got a little nuts there. That's okay. All right, now I'm gonna add some. Looks like a blue-green with a little bit of white. And look at that. It's just mixing colors around. And you might say to yourself, well, you know what? I really want to go lighter here. Okay. So let's add some white and mix it. Look at that mixture. Look at that mixture happening on your paper. That's fine. You do that too. And you say, well, you know what? No. I want to go darker. Okay, go darker. Ooh, look at that. But then you come up onto the flower, you slow it down, because if you go into the flower, then it's going to be messy. I mean, it's fixable. You can always let it dry and then paint over it. But try not to. See that transition? That's nice. Let me put a little more salt on there, okay? When I do this, when I'm painting professionally, I have a very large container of table salt that I just allow myself to go nuts with. All right, I'm going to transition to a different kind of green. So we've got this like gray-green, and the color of the background of this flower is more of like a teal blue. It's okay to pick a different color background than what your image has. That's what makes it your unique artwork. Now if you look here, I don't really have much salt. I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit. Add some more water. So you're using a lot of water. And it really needs to stay flat, or this paint, if you pick this paper up, the paint will just drip off of it, okay? So just, you know, allow yourself to be real painterly. That's fine.
That looks so cool.
Does it?
It looks like.
So I'm getting wild like this, right? But then when I get around the flower, I slow it down. Okay.
It looks like an enchanted.
Adding a little bit more salt. And then you just continue on. Repeat, continue on, continue on. And I would wait a few minutes to let this paint and water saturate into the watercolor paper before taking it and moving it to the dry rack. Now you most certainly want to make sure that your first name and last name are on the back of your watercolor paper, okay? You might have it on the front, and that's good and all, but if you don't have it on the back of here, now when I'm painting this, I'm like, ooh, I forgot to put my name on it. Well, how am I supposed to turn this over wet without, now you're in a pickle. Now you gotta wait for it to dry and hope no one finesses you out of your work.